Lyney, the introductory 5-star of Fontaine, and for the region of Hydro, he's Pyro. Interesting. But what's more interesting is his kit and his unique personality, and the fact that he has no synergy with his sister, Lynette, but we'll get into that later. Lyney is one of the most unique characters released in Genshin Impact, and his kit is a bit confusing, but it's easy to digest. Lyney is the first character to be quote-unquote best suited for mono pyro teams. We may be leaning into a new archetype with mono elemental teams, the first being mono geo, of course. Let's quickly go over his elemental skills so it's easier to understand. Similar to Ganyu, his normal attack consists of a level 2 charge attack, and the level 2 attack leaves behind a taunt, like Ganyu's E, which will taunt enemies for 5 seconds. He will consume HP per shot as long as it's above 60%, this will give him a stack up to 5. Now, besides stealing Ganyu's entire elemental skill and normal attack, his elemental skill will deal AoE pyro damage and explode any taunts that are on the field. Its damage is also increased per stack that he gets from his normal attack. He also heals when he explodes one of his hats. He is actually self-reliant with his props and his hats, which is kinda unique, but since he has no defensive utilities, he is still very much bound to die without a shielder. His burst turns him into an Om Nom Nom Purr machine, and he finally resembles his sister, albeit in a very unique way. But hey, it does do large amounts of damage on the last hit, and you can end it early, and it's a nice pyro nuke that will do a large amount of damage. Now, let's go into his passives and see why he's suited for a mono pyro team. His A4 will increase the damage dealt to enemies affected by pyro by 60% at a base, and for every pyro unit in the party, this will increase by 20%. So with 3 pyro characters, he gets a whopping 120% damage bonus, but sadly, it's capped at 100%. So it's best to really only have 2 other pyro units in your team besides Lyney. His A1 passive increases his damage and restores energy every time Lyney consumes HP with his charge attack. So as long as you have above 60% HP, he's going to be getting back energy and he's going to be increasing his damage. So what does all this mean? Well, Mono Pyro are his best teams. He will mainly be paired with Kazuha, Sucrose, and Bennett in almost every case because of how much they benefit him, but he does a few other things as well. He could be paired with Nahida, Kazuha, and Bennett for a burn team, for instance. His best team will most likely be, as far as DPS, Lyney, Zhengling, Kazuha, and Bennett. But shielding is much more important, because his charge attacks are actually pretty good. The best defensive options for him are Dia and Tank Faye. Zhongli will work really well with him as well, but if you're playing perfectly, it won't be his best option. He is very energy hungry, and the extra energy particles from Tank Faye and Dia will be very useful. The issue with Dia, however, is that her interruption resistance is very scuffed. In case you don't know, she only has interruption resistance for the very beginning of her burst for about 9 seconds, and beyond that, it's almost non-existent. If you're thinking Toma, then don't. Lyney is a charge attack carry, and Toma needs normal attacks for a shield to be of any use. It is extremely frustrating to do normal attacks in between charge attacks, and even if you do that, you won't be stacking up enough shielding for it to be of any use. So, Toma is not an option for him, sadly. Essentially, all of his teams will be Lyney, Bennett, defensive option, and a sub DPS including Anemo, Dendro, or another strong pyro DPS. And with that being said, as for the synergy with his sister, it's very minimal. Every animal support is better than her, unfortunately, and even when Lynette becomes a C6, she ends up being more of a driver, so they just weren't meant to be together. You can still use her for her burst, but there are much better options besides Lynette. He is a strong unit, and if you like him, you should pull for him, but he will be frustrating to use without shielding options. He needs to utilize his charge attack and his burst, and if you lack any shielding, it just won't be fun. I wouldn't get him if... Okay, I get it, Locally. In his role, he is a bit more powerful than C0 Klee, much more powerful than C0 Dia, but at the end of the day, he is Mono Pyro, so not many reactions. We all know that the best teams are the ones who do as many reactions as possible, so he'll always be one level under those teams, but he'll still be able to comfortably clear content as long as you have the main players for his team. I'll be skipping him, as every ounce of my primos will be going towards Focalor, but he is a unit that I wish I could get. He seems unique enough to be enjoyable, and to be honest, if we didn't get a free copy of his sister Lyney for free, I would have been doing a few pulls on his banner. Best of luck pulling, everyone. Let Lyney bamboozle his way into your account with tricks, let him produce a Chi-Chi, and then turn around and present himself to be the one you actually pulled. With him being teased since the beginning of Genshin, I know that many of you will want him, and he will be a great addition to your account. See you all in Fontaine. Let us hold trials and watch magical shows. And until next time, Enigma out.